14A, Eric Batista, City Manager, terminate information communication relative to an open meeting complaint of the Education Committee. We can send that to MO along with Education for a combined meeting, which is the suggestion, Council King.
Yeah, can we take this along with the other one pertaining, is that the only one?
That's the only one, yeah.
So I had an order under suspension,
Oh, you did last week?
I believe.
Let me look. Hang on. Did I miss that one? No, there's nothing under suspension.
Was it the,
Might have been the meeting before, maybe? Yeah.
maybe it was. Yeah, I'd like to speak on this item. Yeah.
Council King?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is in response to my order, correct? Through the chair to the administration, is that the same one?
I think it was a couple, Mr. Manager?
Through the chair to the council, yes, that's correct.
Okay. And that particular order was a request, any documentation that was going to be sent forward regarding an alleged open meeting law violation, just for public purposes. I have a question to the chair, to the solicitor.
Madam Solicitor?
Through the chair to the solicitor. In your review of this matter, was there any determination that there was intentional violation that occurred of open meeting law?
Through the chair, no.
Mr. Chairman, with regards to this particular report, I requested this report for transparency purposes. My understanding through the chair to the administration is that this is under review by the Attorney General's office. Is that correct, through the chair?
Madam Solicitor?
Through the chair to the councilor, this response was sent to the Attorney General's office, but they do not automatically review it. If the complainant requests a review, they can decide whether to look into it or not.
Thank you. So it sits with the Attorney General at this time. Through the chair to the administration, send any action, the recommendation here is to refer this to committee. Any action that committee takes will not have an impact on the decision by the Attorney General, is my understanding. Could you confirm that through the chair?
Madam Solicitor?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Mr. Chairman, I certainly look forward to whether or not the Attorney General holds a hearing, comes back with any substantive finding in this regard. As I stated earlier, there was no intent here to deceive or hide. This was simply, Mr. Chairman, an attempt to stand up for children and to stand with children, Mr. Chairman. You know, the spirit of this, what I've been taught for many years, is if there's something before your committee, you cannot have any sort of take on that. There may be some expansiveness here. Through the chair to the administration, to the solicitor, is there an exemption for public statements relative to this matter that perhaps could be applicable through the chair?
Madam Solicitor?
Through the chair, there's not an exemption per se, but the Attorney General has opined in the past that a statement of a political purpose from one member of a committee was not an open meeting law violation.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, this statement that went out, again, was in support of young people and their families. This was no attempt to move any sorts of curriculum or anything like that, which is under the purview of the school committee, not the city of Worcester. And Mr. Chairman, in addition to that, as you've heard, there's really no impact on the Attorney General sending this to committee. Mr. Chairman, my recommendation will be that we file this and we wait to hear from the Attorney General. I'm extremely concerned, you know, that moving forward and trying to perhaps impact through public discourse any determination by the Attorney General wouldn't be helpful. And further, you know, we need to have all the information it would be petty to move forward with any sort of rush to judgment in regards to myself or anybody else that's been named in this. There's a process in place, and that due process should play out, and to have further deliberation on this matter will not impact the outcome. And as such, Mr. Chairman, I'm asking this to be filed.
Okay. Councilor, I just from a procedural standpoint, I thought in the report that the AG wanted to go to committee. Am I wrong on that? Or?
So,
Mr. Chairman, that's a point of order. Are you
I'm not
debating?
I'm not debating the issue. I'm just asking procedurally how we move forward as a council, which I can do.
That's not a procedural question, Mr. Chairman.
There it is. Councilor Hygia?
Yeah, I guess I need a little bit of clarification. It's my understanding that the open meeting law is very clear that when a alleged complaint comes through, and by the way, I have zero problems to discuss this in the Education Committee. If there is any issues that need to be rectified, correct any conflict of interest purpose, I agree with Councilor King's assessment. I'm not going to litigate that here because that's not the appropriate body, but my point is the Education Committee is the public body that is alleged to have broken the open meeting law, and there's concerns of 2 residents that were brought forward. So why is this then going to 2 public bodies, the Joint Committee in Education and MLO, when the open meeting law says 30 days prior to the filing of a complaint, the body who is alleged to have had issues alleged in the complaint needs to be the one to respond to them.
Madam Solicitor?
through the chair, so the committee is, so the city council is a parent body of the committee. The city council as a whole referred this to the law department to respond. I responded on behalf of the committee. The committee has a very strict purview of matters that can go within its, that can be discussed, the education committee. So that's why the suggestion here was if this is going to be discussed, if the council wants to refer it anywhere, the appropriate place would be the MLO because they're, MLO, sorry, because they're the ones that have the authority to discuss complaints, policies, procedures, and that's why it would be a joint committee. The education committee, although it is an alleged violation against that committee, does not have the purview to discuss the violation on its own.
But the body that, thank you, Madam Solicitor, and the body that is alleged to respond to the complaint is the one that needs to respond to the complaint. In other words, MLO is not alleged to have broken the complaint. This is not a complaint against the City Council. This is a specific complaint against the Education Committee. The open meeting law seems very clear that that body that is alleged to have had these issues should be the one to respond to the complaint, which I have zero problems with. I welcome the residents who filed the complaint as well. And when the determination from the Attorney General's office comes, I'm happy to see that as well. That's not the point. I'm not making a point about litigating the issue itself or the nature of it. I am questioning why this has to go to another body.
Madam Solicitor?
Through the chair, it does not have to go. You can file it now. I have responded on behalf of the body, meaning the committee and the council as a whole. So the response has already gone to the complainant and to the Attorney General's office. If you or the committee would like to further discuss it or discuss a open meeting law, then you can have it go to the committee. At this point, you could file the matter and you could wait to hear back from the Attorney General if you hear back from them, and at that point have another meeting. You can discuss it at the City Council because this is a parent body. This was just a suggestion, it's not a requirement.
Okay, so if I heard you correctly, what you have recommended is a suggestion and not a requirement. And the action that this council can take based on that is to file this and wait for the determination of the Attorney General's office, which will then go to the Education Committee for discussion.
Through the chair, I would recommend that you have it at the City Council whole if you don't want to send it to the committee, because the committee on its own cannot discuss a violation.
But doesn't the open meeting law say that a written complaint with the public body is the one that needs the opportunity to remedy the situation? So if the Education Committee is the body that has been alleged to have had the issue, then we should be the body to then remedy it.
Through the chair, I would suggest that you do that at the city council, the larger parent body, because of the authority given to the education committee and your rules.
Through the chair, has this practice of the city before, when we've had complaints against committees, has it always been the practice, or?
Through the chair, I'm not sure if anything has gone to a committee to be discussed.
So my understanding is that when complaint against open meeting law violations that pertain to the entire body, the city council body, have gone to MLO in the past, because it's the whole entire body that is alleged to have broken the open meeting law. And so I bring this back to the point that in this case, it's not the city council. The specific complaints is focused on one particular subcommittee. And the subcommittee should be receiving the complaint and then discussing it and providing a remedy, which is what I understand the open meeting law to say.
Through the chairs, that process has already happened, and it happened at the city council as a whole. So what you're talking about has already happened. You voted to refer it to the law department. We responded. This memo in the last paragraph is just a recommendation for further discussion if the body, the education committee, wants to further discuss the open meeting law.
So sorry, Madam Solicitor, go ahead and continue.
The committee is limited in its authority what to do. That's why you can do this all at the council.
So I'm just going to repeat again, the recommendation and not the requirement of the law is that this goes to the joint committee, but the law does not outline that.
Through the chair, correct.
Thank you.
Okay, so Council Pasul.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the city solicitor, what is best practice? Like, what do other municipalities do in situations like this?
Through the chair to the councilor. So this is unique to Worcester because it's a committee of the city council. And every other board or commission that we have, we send it directly to that board or commission. The committees of the council do not have any authority to even place a matter on their agenda unless it's referred by the city council. So that's why this is unique to Worcester. But the body, the education committee, can discuss it at this meeting, at the city council meeting as a whole.
Okay, so through the chair to Madam Solicitor, so basically we could either discuss it here on the floor as one choice. It could be a joint meeting between MLO and Education Committee, which is what this is suggesting. And then ultimately, regardless of what we do here, it goes to the Attorney General.
Through the chair, it's already gone to, yes, correct.
Okay, so
However,
they're working on it.
Yeah, they could decide not to investigate it. They could say, you've responded, that's sufficient, we're not gonna look into the matter.
Okay, okay. And ultimately, this is my last question. Does MLO have any oversight over, like I read the complaint and one of the residents, their request was take open meeting law training, have a meeting. But does MLO have control over another committee or counselor, or would it just be a discussion?
Through the chair, it would just be a discussion of either best practices or the law that would then go back to the council as a recommendation. The
Okay.
MLO could not require another committee to take training.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion to file. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
No.
Councilor Calorio?
No.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Morrow Carlson? No. Councilor Nguyen? Councilor Ojeda?
Yes.
Councilor Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
No.
Councilor Toomey?
No.
And Mayor Petty?
No.
Motion to hold, Mr. Chairman.
Under privilege? Okay.